Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. We'll wait for 2 minutes to let everyone join in. Okay, hi, everyone. Welcome back to our weekly career classes. My name is Muskan, and I'll be hosting today's live session. Thank you so much for joining today. So, you all must have heard misconceptions like humanities stream will not lead you to a high paying career option, or it doesn't have a lot of opportunities. Yeah, फिर humanity is all about studying history. But let me tell you one thing, these are not true. We are here to break all these myths related to this humanities stream together. So, are you guys ready? Let's begin this session. And if you all have any questions about today's topic, please use the live chat to ask anything. To talk about our topic today, we are welcoming our guest Shivani Khatri. Shivani is a senior career coach at iDreamCareer and has helped numerous students achieve their dream colleges and career goals. Welcome, Shivani. Thank you so much for joining in today.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Muskan. So just to give you, all present here, a little introduction about me. I am a career coach and a study abroad expert with iDream Career. And of course, at iDream Career, we believe in unbiased guidance, as you all know. And that is the philosophy we follow with our study abroad students as well. Today, the topic that we have chosen, talking about career possibilities in humanities, I think is especially close to me because so many people I know, and I, for that matter, also come from a humanities background, right? Since I am a psychologist, I have a background in psychology and, of course, counseling. So let's start with, talking about a few myths that Muskan was just mentioning. A lot of us have several misconceptions about the field of humanities. And I would like to just reiterate, what these misconceptions have always been. So one of the myths that I think we believe in and students very easily tend to believe in is that humanities degrees will lead to very few career options, very limited career options, and very low paying career options also. Now, I don't know from where this, misconception has arisen, because if you talk about careers like design, careers like civil services, advertising, law, they are some of the highest paid careers in the country today. Even if you look at a list of top 10 career options, highest paid career options in the country, you will find careers like law, you will find careers like product design, you will find careers like advertising and marketing, marketing manager. So all of these are careers that have humanities as a background. So really, students, I would like all of you to take a note of this and not you know add fuel to the fire thinking that if I get into humanities, I will be getting into a low paying career option. That's simply not true. In fact, even social work, which was considered a low paying career, is not a low paying career anymore. If you look at organizations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation or the Dell Foundation, they pay students right after college 5 to 7 lakh, just to help them manage their programs and social work, networking. So really, it's a big myth. I think the second myth that I want to bust is that humanities only talks about, historical events and ancient texts. That is absolutely false. Humanities is a very large domain. Whether you talk about psychology, which is the study of brain and behavior, whether you talk about economics, which is related to finance, banking, everything that we see around us, whether you talk about languages, filmmaking, artistic career options, all of them, even though I feel that every humanities career needs to study concepts and theories that have come previously. right? To understand where we are today. It is a complete myth that we are only studying historical events, right? So I think history is the only subject that focuses on, on historical events and ancient texts and things like that. Other than that, if you look at any other subject, geography or psychology or sociology or, marketing or whatever, it is not like that at all. Okay. Another thing that students sometimes feel that humanities is very theoretical, and what are we going to do with the humanities degree, right? Today we're living in the age of artificial intelligence and technology. So how are we going to keep up with this demand, if we do something in humanities? To those students and parents also, I tell them about liberal arts, which has completely changed the game. Now, liberal arts is a concept where, students are allowed to mix and match their subjects, sort of. So even if I am a computer science student, I can study psychology. Even if I am a, environmental science student, I can still study, history. I can still study international relations. So it is an amalgamation of, different kind of subjects. In fact, I have so many students, that I'm personally mentoring, who are doing humanities, who are doing business and entrepreneurship programs, but also at the same time learning how to code, learning how to analyze data by using different softwares. So I think we cannot escape technology, whether you do a humanities degree or a science or commerce degree. It's not about that. Now, just to give you a very small reality check. Even if we talk about institutes like IIMs or IITs, they are and have always been liberal arts colleges. Okay, even though their degrees are BTech degrees and BBA MBA degrees, if you really look at their syllabus, and I think a lot of students would not have done that, right? They teach you subjects from psychology to sociology to management to entrepreneurship to international relations to law to this that everything, because I think humanities is something that connects human beings to human beings. So you can't really work in any industry without the human touch, right? Which is why humanities is so important. So I really hope that these myths won't come in your way of choosing any degree for that matter, and you will take a better decision the next time you look about choosing courses and colleges. So Muskan, do we have any questions till now?
Mm, yes, Shivani. So, actually, there's also a myth that humanity does not involve a lot of practical experiences, a lot of practical knowledge. So, I think this is also a misconception because
Absolutely,
understanding human,
absolutely false.
uh, yeah, like understanding humanity is a practical practice itself. So,
Yeah, in fact, Muskan, if you look at the college curriculum these days, most of them have, embedded internships and job shadow and research experiences and projects attached to them, right? Right in the curriculum. In fact, we had a visit to, one of the liberal arts colleges in Delhi NCR, a couple of months ago, and students who were, already enrolled in the, first year, second year students who were enrolled in a BBA program, entrepreneurship program, psychology, sociology program, were all doing entrepreneurship projects, were involved in social projects on the ground, visiting slum areas, doing research. So I feel it's a myth, right? It's not like that anymore. In
exactly,
fact,
exactly.
me coming from an applied psychology background, I still remember, we had to do so many research projects, undergo progressive muscle relaxation and so many exercises, and doing therapy in class to understand what that field is all about, application of CBT and whatnot. So it's I feel students just are not aware about the kind of curriculum I feel that is available in many colleges, and we need to change that. We need to change that
Exactly,
perspective.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like humanity does not affect our economy directly, but yeah, it does affect our
Economics
economy
is one of
indirectly.
the most popular majors that students are
Yeah,
opting for in humanities. In fact, I've got so many students this year going to the US and UK for doing economics as well. It is a very popular subject in India and worldwide. So, whether you look at students here or there, yeah, no this thing comparison.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, can I move on to the next
Yes, yes, please.
slide? Yeah. So, I think this is something that I have been wanting to talk about. There have been a lot of emerging trends and opportunities in the field of, humanities itself. Now, I've told you that even IITs and IIMs are, now moving towards a more liberal arts kind of an approach when it comes to their curriculum. And whether you talk about universities like Ashoka, Flame, Kriya, all of them have been pioneers in the field of you know uh, uh, liberal arts as well. Even universities like Plaksha will now give you a BTech in economics and data systems, right? Which was not really available at any university in the country for that matter, right? So there is a strong emphasis on, I think, interdisciplinary research and collaboration. A student who's, let's say, a coder or software developer is also working with the student from a psychology background to understand consumer behavior better, to build better websites, to build better products, right? So that kind of I think collaboration is there throughout the industry. And even in humanities now, just to give you a small example, today if you want to study humanities in let's say a university like University of Toronto or Ashoka University also for that matter, you need to have mathematics or calculus, right? Because there is so much need for data collection, analysis, visualization, that it is imperative that students have undergone training in statistics and research, to undertake that subject. In fact, a lot of students tend to take up humanities on the premise that we will not have to study math anymore. Let me tell you that that is completely wrong. Statistics and maths are a big part of the research that you will do in any subject, whether political science, whether law, whether mass communication, anything at all. You can't really collect data, you can't store data without these advanced technologies. So really, students, you need to buck up and focus on your math and quant skills, definitely, right? So don't be under this impression that I won't have to study this if I don't do if I have to do humanities, or it's an easy subject for that matter, right? um, we whenever any kind of research is done in sociology or journalism or any sort of humanities industry, there is a strong need to have techniques which can study human behavior, which can predict patterns in the future also. So that has, I think, changed in the last decade or so also, and it's still changing with the coming out of artificial intelligence like Chat GPT. Also, we are seeing a very sort of different atmosphere in all industries, right? Not just the humanities industries. So students really need to keep up. Yeah. And don't think, like I said, don't think that I will not have to study computers, I will not have to associate myself with technology. You still are going to, whatever information you collect, where are you going to store it? What kind of research are you going to publish? What kind of predictions are you going to be making in any subject? All of that is dependent on technology, whether it is healthcare, whether it is any sort of counseling field. Even if you are, let's say, somebody who's doing law or environmental science, all of this becomes very relevant for you, right? So this is something that I wanted to take a minute to explain to students. Yeah, Muskan, please go ahead.
So I had a question, Shivani. It will be helpful for students. So as we talked about emerging trends and opportunities in humanity, so
I'm sorry, your voice
how?
is a bit faint, Muskan. Can you repeat that, please?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a question that as we talking about emerging trends and opportunities, so how much of a chance is there for humanities stream to compete with the other streams career opportunities like technologies, like coming new technologies coming in, and the technical word is booming right now,
Yeah.
as we talked about AI and other technologies. So how
Uh,
what is the
Muskan,
chance of?
I think everybody has been saying that AI is going to replace a lot of the jobs that, even counselors' jobs and, even in the field of law and healthcare, AI is going to come in and disrupt. Yes, it has made a disruption, definitely. But I think the jobs that could have been done automatically, or the jobs that were too, I think, simple have been automated, right? Humanities, like I said before, also is all about the human touch. I don't think artificial intelligence can really simulate that kind of human touch or advice that I could give to a student, or the empathy that I could show to a student, perhaps, right? Similarly,
Absolutely.
lawyers also use artificial intelligence to answer small queries because it's a lot of information. But ultimately, you do need to consult an actual lawyer and talk to them face to face. It's also, I feel, the uh just the satisfaction of talking to another human being, I feel, Muskan. Okay. So I don't think human beings are really moving towards AI in that sense. Yes, definitely a lot of it is getting automated, but I don't think we'll lose the value of the human touch anytime soon, very frankly. So humanities is
Yes,
still very much in demand.
yeah, Shwangi, but in terms of monetary input, I was talking about, like, can it actually compete with the technical industry's income? Because
In
I think
terms of
most of the,
monetary in input, you're saying?
yeah, because in I think these misconceptions somewhere raised because of this question ki humanities cannot give you a high paying job. So can it compete with the high paying roles, or maybe the
Absolutely,
average
absolutely.
income of a engineer? So can
Okay.
humanity lead to these kind of roles where you can actually
Definitely,
have a
Muskan,
competing
definitely.
salary?
See, I think I've already established that, careers in humanities are, if you take a look at any of the, better lists out on the internet of top 10 or top 20 high paying career options in India, you will find engineers, you will find data scientists, you will find, people from the science background, you will find management consultants, you will also find designers, product design specially, which is humanities. You will find marketing specialists. Digital marketing is so much in demand, which is again an amalgamation of technology and traditional marketing methods. So I think we've already adopted the good practices that we could from artificial intelligence and technology, and we have made it into something better. So yes, we can definitely compete with more conventional jobs, right? So as to say, and we can definitely meet their salaries as well. In fact, now humanities students are so if you look at University of Delhi, a student who's doing a BA program. Yeah, for example, will get placed in companies like Google, Microsoft also. Yeah, along with students who are engineers and data analysts and so on. There is a role for everybody. Yeah. So we are definitely, and I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about the past 5, 10, 15 years also, right? So that data shows us. And you can ask students, who have studied history, who have studied, psychology, who have studied geography, have landed up in wonderful careers, I feel. Yeah.
Right.
Even students who are doing, let's say, all of these subjects move into MBA roles later, or move into management consultancy later, coming from various backgrounds. So that adds another layer of complexity, I feel, to their roles. When they go there, because everybody can't come from the same background, right? We do need diversity and people with all kind of experiences going to, solve industry problems. So yeah, definitely. There is definitely no dearth of jobs or salaries, I feel, at least for
Right.
humanities students.
And also, I think this is a time where your degree and your subject doesn't matter. It's only about how good you carry yourself and how do you use your
Definitely.
skill.
I think industry skills, and this was going to be, my next topic also, that I
Yeah,
wanted students to apprise, I wanted to apprise students of. So, of course, see, a college can only take so much responsibility, or a school can only take so much responsibility of your learning. ultimately students, it is your responsibility to do most of the learning at least, right? जैसे हम बोलते हैं that self study is the most important thing. So I feel everybody has to take onus of their learning and building their skills that they want to build. So I've got students doing all kinds of programs from Coursera, Udemy, Harvard Online, edX, and trying to just dabble in various career options, even for career exploration. There was a student that I was counseling, and he wanted to move from a science to a commerce stream, but had not studied commerce ever in his life. So the first thing I told him was that you need to take a look at books that you have for commerce, right? Look at what accounts teaches you, look at what economics teaches you, and if you feel that you're slightly interested, do maybe a couple of online courses just for exploration, right? An introduction to management or an introduction to finance or accounts. It will really help you understand whether you have short term interest at least in that subject. So अगर short term interest है तो वो long term interest भी बन सकता है. And if we have interest in some area, we can definitely keep learning and building skills in that area, I feel, right? It becomes much more easier because so many courses on digital marketing, so many courses on psychology, so many courses on public policy, on decision making, on critical thinking, design thinking, which are all new age skills for students to learn, right? All of them are readily available. You don't have to pay anything. Most of them are free courses. So I encourage all students to do that. Other than that, students ask us, how do I make a better profile for college? How do I make a better profile for a job? You know, any kind of recruiter doesn't always look at your marks all the time. They also want to see whether you can engage in multitasking, whether you're what kind of a person you are outside of work or outside of just your academics. So summer programs, MUNs, any sort of community service, volunteer work, job shadow, all of this helps you build a better profile, right? And of course everybody doesn't have to do the same kind of thing. It's very very different for I think every student. Some students are very good at sports, they like doing it. Some student, I had one student who is doing all kinds of MUN, Harvard MUN, Oxford MUN. There are students who are actually building their own NGOs, working with students and working with animals also, in fact women and children. So much of good to do in the world. So I think it's time that you take all of this on your own head, take that sort of responsibility and start building your profile, a better profile, uh, for college admissions obviously, and for jobs as well. you know for jobs also, we know that the job market is slightly tighter these days. So I've had students come to us and say that, oh, I'm not finding a job, it's not easy, and I know that it's not easy. So we generally ask them to start off with an internship, right? Because if you can show your work in an internship, you can learn also, and you can also prove that you actually know how to do the job, right? So that can always convert to a job offer. So doing these little things, I feel, really makes a difference. Yeah, it's the effort that counts.
शिवांगी, अभी कुछ रिसेंटली दिस थिंग हैज कम की इंटर्नशिप इन स्कूल्स. पहले ऐसा नहीं था. वी यूज्ड टू डू these internships in college and not in our school. So now
Yeah,
I think the time has changed and the
times have
competition has
changed.
increased. So
Yeah.
अब you have to start from the beginning. You can't wait to get into college and start building your
No,
career from there.
definitely not. You're absolutely right, Muskan. Most of the students that, I'm counseling and, generally talk to on a daily basis, we have advised all of them to do, profile building at a school level, right? Whether it is internships. See, it is difficult for students to get internships at a school level. But yes, we have, partnered with certain organizations where students were getting structured internships. So yeah, we did that. We have got some very good structured summer programs available for students also. A lot of our students have gone for summer programs in India also, abroad also. And for students who can't travel, or students who have any sort of restriction, can just sit in the vicinity of their home and do these online programs. There is no problem. We had medical students who wanted to go for medicine, yeah, learning CPR at home, online, which was, I think, a very good theoretical exercise. If you can't do a job shadow, then at least you can learn something theoretical that adds to your profile, right? So it has to start in school. Students from grade 8, 9 get started with all of these things. So we don't have to wait till we get into college or pass out from college. Absolutely.
And Shivangi, how can networking help our students while they are in school to get into these career options or these internships or workshops? How can networking
Yeah.
help them? Is it
I
important
think,
for those
see, I think,
students?
yeah, a little bit. I feel, Muskan, networking does help. Like I said, it's not easy for students to get into internships, but I've had students who got into internships at a very young age, right? Right in grade 11th and grade 12 because of networking. So either they had networks with their friends or their parents had networks. Even to, let's say, job shadow a doctor is not really an easy task, so that can only happen when you have built a good rapport with somebody that you know. I've asked so many students to interview, their cousins and people that their cousins would know or their family would know, right? Who may be engineers, who may be into astronomy, who may be into, some other area, some other career. So networking definitely helps. So I think it's not a bad idea to start reaching out to people. In fact, once you're of age and you can create a profile on LinkedIn, it's always better to put your work out on LinkedIn also and keep connecting with people. Let's say I have a target of going into, a university in Arizona. So why not find people from the same university and connect with them, to understand what they did that led them to get their admission. So these kind of things we always advise students to. So networking, definitely a yes. Definitely a yes.
When we are in school, we don't have much of an idea where to start, how to start. So for the initial level of knowledge, can you suggest some reliable sources, some reliable websites, or some reliable any kind of
Yeah,
sources
I
that can be
think
trusted?
LinkedIn is a safe website, like I mentioned. Other than that, I'm not very not very fond of students getting into any website that may be fishy. I
Hmm.
think a parents network could serve as, I think, the best and reliable method for communication, right? Because students that way say safe, like they say, safe and protected also. Plus LinkedIn also, even if you're, let's say, inviting somebody out for a cup of coffee or going for a chat, somebody that you met on LinkedIn or on any other website also, always better to take a parent along with you and, arrange the meeting with just the help of somebody who's going to be looking after you, perhaps, yeah. And for internships also, there are websites like Internshana, Let's Intern, even Indeed, and LinkedIn also, to help students find internships. Yeah, paid and unpaid, both kind of internships, in fact.
Right, right. And if a student who's interested in humanities and want to take up it as a as their core stream or
Yeah.
career in future, so how can they, how can they start practicing by themselves on their personal level?
To get into a good college.
No, 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 no. To make it, to start a foundation of humanities in themselves. Like if they want to understand, either they want to make a career in humanities, or they just
Humanities
have
or
a
not.
normal interest, or they just want
Yeah,
to try out. So,
I understand.
what
See,
are those practices on their personal
Uh,
level that they
see,
can do?
Muskan, every subject in humanities is quite different. Like economics will be a very different subject from design. Similarly, psychology will be a very different subject from marketing, right? So,
Right.
I think it really depends on the skills of a student, whether the student has an interest in, making a career in humanities or not, because, various subjects, different kind of theories and all. It really depends on whether you have the right personality for it, frankly, because humanities, different careers can have very different conflicting personalities. For example, mass comm is like a career cluster, like we call it a career cluster. In mass comm only, you've got so many career options. You've got public
Yeah.
relations, you've got marketing, you've got journalism, you've got print and, online media and so on, right? And everything is very different. Similarly, for a hospitality industry, you would need a different personality. You'd need to be very extroverted. You need to like to chat to people. For, a career like writing, or let's say script writing or production, you wouldn't need that sort of a flamboyant personality, but you would need an investigative mind, right? You have to be questioning, you have to be curious. So these kind of things we generally assess with students also, Muskan, right? And you also have to see whether your subjects align with the career in humanities or not. Like I said, the eligibility criteria for every university can be very different. Now, if I want to study economics in India, I need to have a math, right? Similarly, if I want to study psychology or sociology, some universities might require a math, some universities might not require a math. If I want to study hospitality, my subjects could be, any stream. It wouldn't matter, but my personality, my communication skills would matter a lot. So it's very different, I feel, for different career options. So if we know, how the child is, how, what kind of a personality the student has, whether they have an interest in the subject or not, and so on. And of course their aptitude, whether they can, do their reasoning properly, because most of the entrance exams nowadays have reasoning, they have quantitative aptitude, they have English language. So all of this also needs to be kept in mind. So generally, I before making any sort of comments on whether the child can do some career or not, we tend to take an assessment, and that's how we start. Yeah.
Right.
So I hope that clarifies it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. So, just a few tips I'd like to share with all of you. Everything that we have learned here today, just summarized in these few tips, that humanities is not a theoretical, it's not a theoretical field anymore. Practical application of the subjects is very, very important, like we said. So it doesn't matter what subject you're doing. Always try to engage in research projects. Always try to engage in internships, in job shadows, summer programs, and so on, to get a real life feel of what the subject would look like, right? Studying something and working in something can be completely different. Okay, so it's important that you practice it. I've had students just say, oh, I want to do science also, but I want to do commerce also, but I like this subject also in humanities. Okay, I like political science, or I like this. So they're not sure whether this is available in universities or not. It definitely is. I've had students do environmental and sustainability with entrepreneurship. We've got students doing design and sociology and hospitality together. So you just think of whatever combinations you can, and I think it is your counselor's job to tell you whether that combination is possible or not. But at least tum dream to karo, at least socho to sahi, right? That's how a counselor would be able to tell you whether this is possible or not. So don't think that, oh, pehle se hi nahi sochna hai, that, oh, this is not going to happen. Okay, because probably it will, right? There are options available. And soft skills and technology are very important in today's world, whether you're a science student or a commerce student, but more so a humanities students. Humanities students have to learn soft skills. You have to be good at communication. You have to connect with people well. I personally feel that, because this is a field that's talking about the human touch, right? And add technology to it, then you've got something really unbeatable. Okay, so for all the students out there who want to have a career in humanities, do not worry. We will tell you what kind of careers you can have, and what kind of courses and colleges you can get into. So don't hesitate to just uh, think that you can do this. All right. And on that last note, I will just thank all of you to uh, you've been here, such a lovely audience, and asked so many nice questions also. I'm just going to, yeah,
Actually,
just,
Shivani, uh, I have
yeah,
two questions from our
of
students.
course. Ask away.
So this one question is, I am in 12th and I study both computer science and psychology along with political science. Can I study two or three subjects together in college too?
Yes, you can. You can study computer science and psychology. Like I said, liberal arts colleges will give you that, will give you that combination. However, you will have to choose one subject as a major and one subject as a minor. So, major is a subject that you will possibly specialize in. Okay, either it could be computer science or psychology, and you will take psychology or computer science as a minor, and you can always have one or two more subjects in combination with that. It's a very good combination, by the way, psychology and computer science. Yeah.
Great. I think you've got your answer, Jade. Okay, so there's another question is how do I go about maintaining psychology as my career? I really want to explore this field and my preferable niche would be organizational psychology, but I'm still
Okay.
afraid if I will get enough money at the start because it does not show enough at the time of start, but it seems like there's not a stable income where you could be able to save too also yeah, so I want to start a career in psychology, but I'm afraid if I get enough money at the start.
Okay, so money is a concern, right? See, psychology,
Right.
right now, because you've not studied psychology, right? I would suggest to take it up at an undergrad level and study all the fields. So, clinical psychology, counseling psychology, organizational, social psychology, study everything because you need a foundation before moving on to some sort of specialization. Organization psychology is a very good specialization to opt for, and mostly people who do organizational psychology end up in human resources. Okay, and human resources is also such a wide field. You could move into training, learning and development, recruitment, just operations. There are a lot of roles in human resources as well, right? As far as payment is concerned, I don't think that should be an issue. See, anybody who's starting from scratch, who has not worked in the industry, cannot expect a very high income right off the bat. Okay, organizational psychology and psychology in itself is about the practical application of psychological concepts. So until you can prove that you can use those concepts and actually apply it to that sort of setting, you can't really expect you to grow exponentially. But believe me, once you get into it, once you are not a fresher, 1 or 2 years down the line, you can expect to grow very well financially also. Don't you worry.
Right. So, Shivani, I have a last question from you, and it's not a very technical question. It's a very emotional question for all
Oh,
of our students, actually. So, there's a stigma that people who cannot do science and maths choose humanities or arts. So, what about these trolling that they get to hear from their friends, from their relatives that they didn't choose maths or they choose humanities over science or maths because they couldn't do it? So, what
yeah,
would be the right step to tackle it?
yeah. See, Muskan, I it pains me, okay, also when people talk like that.
Exactly, absolutely.
And yeah, absolutely. And I think that's not a very good way to sort of handle students also, right? No parent or relative or anybody around you should discourage you like that, firstly. Because personally, having taught in an international curriculum, I can tell you that students who have scored a 92%, 95%, okay, have left in the board exams, have left sciences, okay, completely ignored sciences and moved to humanities directly to study economics, political science, because they want to get into law, they want to get into journalism, they want to get into international human rights and careers like these, okay, and psychology even. So I mean, this is a very old sort of notion, okay, firstly, that people who do science are very intelligent, people who do commerce and then humanities is nothing. It's not like that. So ask those people to take a look at the syllabus for humanities and the books for humanities, please. Just make them see what all you're doing, yeah, how difficult those subjects are, and then they will know. Not everybody has a knack for doing humanities because there's a lot of things, lot of concepts to be grasped. In fact, having a being a psychology teacher, I have been a psychology teacher also, and students have opted for psychology thinking that, oh, this is going to be such an easy little subject for us, science students and commerce students many a time. So leaving maths and taking psychology and thinking, oh, this is not difficult, yeah. And then really struggling with that subject, okay. So pura complete myth hai, aisa kuch nahi hota hai. These are wonderful subjects to be doing. In fact, civil services, okay, one of the toughest exams in the country. Engineers leaving their BTech degrees and their need MBBS degrees and everything, and preparing for the civil services exams, like subjects like history, political science, geography, psychology, and not I mean, कितना कम रेशियो है उस एग्जाम को क्लियर करने का, right? So you must give them that example also, that most of the government services in India, and in fact civil services, which is treated as one of the toughest in the country, is based on humanities. It's not based on sciences. It's based on
Well said.
ethics. You look at the syllabus for the civil service exam. So, so exhaustive, and all based on humanities
Yeah,
completely.
and I think uh, following a line, a traditional line, is very easy, but thinking out of box and doing something different
Very
takes
difficult.
courage.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Well said,
students
Muskan.
shouldn't take all these trolls to their heart and think that they are doing something different and they are
Yeah,
actually following their passion and not following someone's old line.
true, true, very true. So
Yeah.
I hope
So
students, we have been able to clear at least some of your doubts, if not all.
yeah, actually, okay, so we have reached to the end of our session, and we'll have to wrap up today's session. And
Yeah.
but we'll surely be back with our next sessions. So, guys, stay tuned. As we wrap today's session, I want to thank Shivani for sharing her insights with us. It was a very helpful session, a very enlightenment was there, and
Thank you,
I
Muskan.
hope you got all your answers. If you have any more questions, you can simply scan the QR code shown on your screen. It will take you to our web app where you will be able to see an Ask Me Anything option, and you can get your answers directly from our expert counselors. So you can go ahead and explore by yourself. And thank you so much for joining in today. Thank you so much, Shivani.
Thank you, Muskan, for inviting me. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and taking out the time. Please do scan this QR code, though. It'll help you connect to our experts and really help you get some career clarity, right? There are some questions that we keep thinking about who do I talk to? Parents, relatives, friends sometimes may not have all the answers. So it's always better to connect with somebody who does. Yeah.
Yes. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button below to stay updated. And thank you so much for joining in. Have a nice, fantastic day, all. See you next week. Okay, done. We are not
Are we
live.
done? Okay. All right. ठीक है.